Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Look, we are 24 hours removed since Chelsea lost to Aston Villa and everyone has now been hit with a huge reality check as to where this football club currently functions and the levels that we are hitting and the levels we are not hitting, should we say. So we're going to get into the detail on what has gone down today because there's a few things to decipher in the fallout of that 1-0 loss yesterday to Aston Villa and off the back of that. But before we do, a couple of things that I want to let you know of. First and foremost, make sure you guys are here for tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Because tomorrow is the preview to Chelsea versus Brighton. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've got that notification bell on. And if you do enjoy what you see, make sure you hit the like button. Because tomorrow might be... I don't even know what to expect from that match preview. I don't know what to come on and say. This is going to be... We know what's going to happen, don't we? We just know. So look, we're going to get through the detail today. Tomorrow I will give you my honest thoughts on what I think going into that Brighton game. You know, for the one time that I actually want us to wait a week before we play another football match. Now, we got to play on Wednesday. We got to play on Wednesday at home to Brighton. Of all teams, Brighton. Okay, we're going to get to that tomorrow. Make sure you're here for that. Don't forget to check out the socials as well. They are in the description. Much appreciated. One of the things to start this video off with, away from Chelsea in terms of the team, but in relation to someone at Chelsea who I think is very dear to our hearts right now in terms of what she has accomplished for this football club, Emma Hayes. I feel it's only right to share this because she has given us an update, an unfortunate update, and an update that I think none of us want to ever go through, but I think something that we all have to go through at some point in our lives. I've not gone through it, thank goodness, touch wood. I don't want it to happen for a very, very, very long time, if I'm being completely honest. But Emma Hayes, unfortunately, her dad has passed away today. So here's an update on what she had to say. It's the post that I never ever wanted to write. To my gorgeous, amazing dad, life will never be the same without you. Thank you for everything you taught me, for the life you gave us all, and the memories we created. You will forever be my champion, and while there is a huge hole in my heart, I will carry the learnings and the love and will continue to make you proud. Love you, Papa. R.I.P. And my thoughts and condolences go out to Emma, go out to her family. This one stings because it's your dad. Do you know what I mean? And look, with Emma, I do want to say this. From a Chelsea perspective, and I think all of us can agree, what Emma Hayes has done for the football club, what she has achieved in her own life as a manager, I'm happy at the fact that her dad, who was key to her success, was there to see every single moment and was there, I'm sure, as one of, if not the proudest dad in the world. And for that reason, I think that gives Emma at least a little bit of comfort, because there are people that go through success and their parents are not there to see it. So I think you can only be grateful for that. And I honestly have my thoughts and my well wishes to Emma, my condolences to her and her family. And I think it's the same for all of us and the big Chelsea family. So Emma, we are thinking of you and your family at this time. Now, talking about another thing we're thinking of at this time, Chelsea Football Club. And Chelsea Football Club, well, we've got updates today. People are leaving. People are leaving. People are like, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm jumping ship. See you later. I'm getting off the boat before it sinks. Maybe we've already started sinking. Some would argue we've sank already. But here's one update. Bruno Saltor has left. Yeah, Bruno has secretly, apparently, left Chelsea 4 months into working with Mauricio Pochettino. The exclusive from Matt Law is that it is understood the club has paid up his contract, leaving 2 remaining members of the team who joined Brighton with Potter. Is that coach, or is that the staff that we got, the recruitment staff? Because they came from Brighton, so... That's absolutely bonkers, isn't it? But Bruno Saltor has left. Our own Pep Guardiola has left. It's just, you know what? I actually wish him well, because apparently, in terms of what you actually hear from behind the scenes, he's quite a nice person, a good figure. He understood, if I'm being completely honest, he understood his capabilities, his abilities, and he didn't want to bite off more than you could chew. He took charge of the team for one game against Liverpool, and we actually done all right that day, if you remember the 0-0. But after that, he was like, I don't want to be a manager. I'm not looking to be manager. I'm not there yet. I can't do it, so don't appoint me. Fair play. He's honest. He's honest. We need some honesty, don't we? Well, he's left. So Bruno Saltor, I actually wish him the best. Good luck, Bruno. But not just Bruno. Not just Bruno. We got someone else that left as well. This one stings. Exclusive. Chelsea legend Claude Makelele has recently left his role at the club as a technical mentor. The reason for his departure is understood to be by mutual decision, which happened before the Legends of Europe match that took place earlier this month. More here and on Bruno Saltor's departure, and that's from Nathan Gissing. You know, he was a technical mentor, and he was in that role, if I'm not mistaken, he was in that role when Roman was in the club. And he's not departed since, and he had work that he'd done alongside the academy, and he's left. So, look, it's a presence where you get people that are able to lead by example, and he's definitely one of those. And he's left at a time when the club are lacking leaders and people that lead by example, and it's not like, you know, we've done well, especially from last season, to prove that, but when you lose people like that, it's like, bloody hell, you know, what do we have left? You know, it's sad. It's sad. Claude Makelele, absolute legend. Good luck in whatever he does next. Now, talking about Matt Law and the article he put out, he went into detail in regards to some things that are happening within the football club. So we're going to get into it, and this starts off with the data. The data. Apparently we are reading the data. I hate this bit. I hate hearing about data. I despise it. I understand that you can use it as a tool, but I hate when you only rely on anything but the data. Or nothing but the data, sorry. Well, here's Matt Law and what he's had to say in regards to Igbali, Bowley, Poch. Let's get into it. Mauricio Pochettino retains the full support of Igbali and Bowley, with the first team staff and the Chelsea owners confident that results will soon start to reflect the data they are carefully studying during what has been a run that has included just one victory in the opening 6 Premier League games. What data are they possibly looking at? Well, we have an update. Let's get into it. Having been hit by an early season injury crisis, Chelsea are underperforming their expected goals rate and lie 5th in the Premier League table for expected points, which is the biggest disparity in the top flight. Do you know what else I look at? The data that I look at? The data that I look at is that we scored 5 goals, we've conceded 6. We've had 5 games. We've got 6 games. We've had 5 points and we're 14th in the table. That's the data that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at anything else. Anything else does not matter. Simple as that. But according to these guys, it does matter. And the fact that they are looking at this data, XG, expected points and all of that, with the hope that that is the indicator that things are going to get better. That's what we're hearing. Wrong! Wrong, and I'll prove it to you very quickly. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to work this one out. It's only being done because it's all they got. It's the only hope they got. They've got nothing else to rely upon, obviously. So they're having to lean on that and go, this is the one indicator I think we got that might get us out of the mud. Yeah, XG, guys. We tried that last season. Didn't work. And guess what? It's not working again. Well, I'm not sure if I can actually get you this on screen. I can only get the XG on screen. But when you go all the way down, basically, let me read it out to you. Because I can't get it on screen for you guys without having to amend the entire setup. But basically, Chelsea are 14th in the league right now. Right? The bottom 7 teams, so from 13th to 20th, the bottom 7 are not fulfilling their XG, right? We are not fulfilling our XG by 6. We've expected to score almost 12. We've scored 5. So by 6.83 goals, we are underperforming in terms of our XG. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th are all underperforming their XG. That's why they're in the bottom half of the table. Anyway, in terms of expected goals against, we're actually all, except for 19th place Burnley, overperforming in terms of the goals that we have conceded. which is actually quite hilarious. I think everyone in the league is overperforming their goals conceded, except for 3 teams: Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, and Burnley. Now, if we go to expected points, our expected points, guess what? 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th are all underperforming their expected points. What does that piece of data tell you? Whilst everyone else, except for 2 teams, Newcastle and Crystal Palace, are underperforming are underperforming their expected points. Everyone else is overperforming their expected points. That's why they're at the top half of the table, and the rest of us from 13th onwards are underperforming our expected points. That's why we're bottom half of the table. So the reliance on this data to think, oh, this is what tells us we're gonna shoot our way up the table. So are all 7 of us going to shoot our way up the table? 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th that are all underperforming their expected points. We're looking at that data to give us an indicator that we're all going to shoot up the table, right? That's not how football works. Brentford, Chelsea, Everton, Wolves, Bournemouth, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United are all underperforming the expected points, and we think, just us. The rest will stay there. But we're going to be shooting up the table because our expected points is higher than what we've got so far. So we're doing something right. This is why I hate relying on data. I hate it. It's obvious what needs to be done. It's clear. At this point, it's clear, right? On a basic level, we can go into the little nitty-gritty details, but on a basic level, look. We need to stop bottling. Simple as that. Owners need to stop bottling in terms of the way that the club is being run, the strategy, and the recruitment. The manager needs to stop bottling by actually putting a team together that is set up correctly in order to win. What do I mean by that? I mean players playing in their positions, players playing because they deserve to play, players playing in roles that's going to benefit themselves and the team, not sticking Enzo in a 10, not sticking Colwell at left back. So that's on the manager, and the players need to stop bottling whenever they come in front of the flipping net, and no one can shoot. Simple. And at the same time, stop relying on the goalkeeper and actually tighten up defensively instead of letting stupid mistakes get through. Everyone's bottling on all fronts. Owner, manager, players. Everyone. Or owners. Recruitment included. Stick them in because they're a big part as to why we are where we are. The owners are probably relying on the recruitment and they're just having to deal with all the punches. It's a responsibility across the board. But the data is going to do one thing and one thing only, and it's going to give people false hope that, oh, it's going to get better. It's what I said yesterday in the review. We have this thing that, don't worry, it's going to get better. All right, you let me know when. When we're playing Port Vale in the Championship. You know what? It's insane. No. I'm not doing that anyway. I'm not doing that. The indicators and the signs are there that we are absolutely in the mud right now. And we need to sharpen up. And the way to sharpen up is for players, for staff, for everyone to be able to actually build and grow some cojones and to actually get some bottle. Simple. Show yourself. Be not just committed, but put yourself forward. Take the responsibility. Take the hits. Go at it and just never say die. We need to develop a character and we have to be able to take risk, and you have to have composure and don't let the pressure overcome you. And that, I think, is what's happened. We are letting pressure overcome on every single possible front. Now, we are 6 games in. Some people are going, oh, it's just 6 games, like I said yesterday in the review. And I'm like, no. Why? Because we are playing like this whilst, if we're looking at the data, we've had the easiest fixture run-in so far in terms of the first 6 games. We've had the easiest fixture list calculated without the whole Premier League compared to everyone else. We've had the easiest fixtures and we're losing them. You think we're going to beat Arsenal? City, Spurs, Liverpool, when we have that run in October, Brighton, even Brentford. Are we beating all of them? God forbid where we're going to be. And just to let you know, in February, we got to have that same run in again. Go and look at the fixtures. Go and look at the fixtures and you'll see we've got another 6 or 7 games at once from February onwards. So we're going to have to pray that in between December and Feb, we're actually winning games, because if we don't, then we are really, really, really in trouble. So I'm not taking this whole, it's just 6 games. No, we are in the mud right now. And we need the urgency and we need the pressure on us to be able to get everyone going. Do something. Now, I want to show you a quote from 2019. It comes from none other than the special one. He's named that for a reason. Here it is. When you start accepting defeats just because your team played well and just because your players gave their best, a performance for people to be proud of, I think when you get used to it, that's when big clubs stop being big clubs. It's happened to many teams before. Nottingham Forest were 2 times Champions League winners at one time. They spent how many years in the Championship? Leeds, tons of teams that were at the top playing Champions League football at one time went down. They went down. Not just they went out of the European places like some clubs end up doing. Arsenal went through it. Liverpool went through it. They finished 8th. I'd take 8th. I would take 8th in a rebuild. I would take 8th. Right now, I know that we are in a complete rebuild, or we're actually trying to rediscover our identity. We don't know who we are, right? We don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. Chelsea Football Club, we don't know who we are. We might start a new chant because none of us know what's going on. But if we were to finish 8th, I'd take that right now. I understand that. And that's what they had to go through in order to get themselves up to a build. When people want to compare us to Arsenal and what they had to go through and the process, yeah, they weren't 14th, just to let you know. They weren't finishing 12th. They weren't going to 16th. They weren't there. They were 8th, Same with Liverpool and Klopp. Same with Pep when he joined City, right? Yeah. There's going to be a dip, but that's the dip, not on the floor. We are on the floor. We've gone past the floor. We've got a hole in the floor and we're going to the basement. That's what the reality is. So we have to be careful. Here of this, not just the standards, because I feel like that gets thrown about way too much. But don't give up who you are and who you know that you can be, just for the sake of just going to give up, just going to accept it, we're just going to accept it. No. An example, and I'm not saying do this, but an example is Ajax. Ajax yesterday. Ajax lost 3-0 to Feyenoord. They kicked off, and I'm not saying kick off, don't kick off, not on that level. That's ridiculous. Like, they started smashing their ground up, they started doing all of that chaos, absolute chaos. The match got abandoned, it got suspended. Absolute why? Because they're 13th in the Dutch league. They weren't accepting that defeat. What happened? The very same day, because of that outrage, the same day the director of football got sacked. Same day. People been calling for the Glazers to sell the club for how long? Ajax got it done in one afternoon in terms of getting the director chopped. Unreal. So fans do have influence. Fans do have power. Don't let that slip and just bend over and just go, yeah, we're just going to take it. No. There's no excuse, is what I said. If Chelsea were 8th, or fine, not a problem. We accept where we are. 14th, playing like this, I ain't accepting that. No way, because there's no excuse. This team is still good enough to be able to get 8th. Should be around there, at least. Should be. But we're not. So, we got to take ourselves and hold accountability. Don't just accept. Now, what's going to be done moving forward, and how is this going to change? Well, in January, apparently we are targeting a player. I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this because I think it's not the same opinion that we had maybe a couple of weeks ago. Here it is. Chelsea and Arsenal have been told the potential conductions of the Ivan Toney deal. Both are interested in the player. That came from Fabrizio. I'm just going to be real right now. If you are Ivan Toney and you had a choice, right? You had a choice. Chelsea or Arsenal, who are you choosing? It's only going to be one team, isn't it? Right now, it's a big risk to go to Chelsea. You would have your place basically nailed on. Ivan Toney walks into this Chelsea team instantly. So there's that. Maybe that's one advantage. But the others, competing for the title, or at least in the top 4, competing for trophies, Champions League football, great team around him. He did entertain Arsenal at one time. It never happened. So, right now, it doesn't seem very likely that we will win this deal. It doesn't. And if we do, bloody hell. I honestly wouldn't know how we've pulled it off if we continue to play the way that we're playing. Unless we just give him tons of money, which we're not going to do because these owners don't want the wage structure to be destroyed. And that's one thing that I do agree with them on. I can understand in terms of the wage structure and that having to be sorted compared to what we used to do. Absolutely agree. But we're going to have to break the bank at some sort of capacity in order to get the best in. And right now, we are desperate. So there's that. Now, there's one piece of news before we wrap up that I have to let you guys know about. And we're gonna talk about the dressing room again. We're going to talk about the dressing room. Here's more from Matt Law. Chelsea sources insist Bedad Eghbali did not address the players after the defeat to Aston Villa and has not delivered any pep talks during any of his visits, but his presence in the area normally reserved for the head coach, his staff and the players could still prompt debate. Goes on to say, rather than expressing his thoughts to the team during his post-game visits to either the home dressing room or the manager's office, Eghbali is said to have instead shaken hands with players and coaching staff and wished individuals well. Eghbali went into the dressing room yesterday, and I still don't understand why owners need to go into the dressing room. I don't get it. And I hear the argument that some people are going to make going, well, if you've spent $1 billion, you can go wherever you want. Understandable. But if you understand the football dynamics, right, and how it works, you know that the dressing room is a place for the manager and his players only. And you only go into the dressing room if you have the blessing of the manager. Even if you're the owner, you have the blessing of the manager. It's not your own decision to just walk in there. And if there's an occasion, you've won a title or it's a big event, it's a final, and you want to go in and motivate the players before a game kicks off, or if you've won it, you celebrate, or even if you've lost it, you go in to console everybody. Fine. With the manager's blessing. But to go in every single game, we saw this last season, man. It's not right, as far from me. My opinion, it's not right. You want to talk to the team? Go to Cobham. Come tomorrow to the training ground, not a problem. But after the game, in the dressing room or at half time, no, that's for the manager and the players only. You hired that manager, you let him deal with that dressing room. That's his responsibility. That's his office, basically. And you ain't allowed in unless he allows it. Now, I'd like to think that Poch has given his blessing here, but tell me, what's the point now? If we're talking about the Eghbali going into, he's got every right to go in, he's got to go in and just, smash everything to pieces inside the dressing room. Okay, let's go down that route. Apparently he's not done that. Apparently he's gone into the dressing room and he's shaken everyone's hands. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of going in there then? What is the point? Now, you want to talk to Poch, don't go to the dressing room. As that rightfully says, he's got his office next to the dressing room. Wait at his office. You can talk to Poch there. But don't go into the dressing room. It's as a manager, this is what I'm saying, unless Poch is giving his blessing here, but even then, there's no reason for the owner to be in the dressing room. But as a manager, if you have the owners constantly coming into the dressing room, it's an undermining of what the manager needs to do in that environment, because that environment belongs to the manager. Simple. End of story. And anyone that understands the dynamics of a dressing room would know where I'm coming from. It's a sacred place. It's for the manager and the players, and that's where they get things done. That's them. The owners, that's a footballing level. The owners are not meant to be in there. They're not on a footballing level, to be in the dressing room like that. They're just not. So it's not how it works. But we got Eghbali now, and Todd Boehly apparently has distanced himself. Now it's more about Eghbali in terms of the running of the club and whatnot. He's going into the dressing room, and I don't understand why. We also have to revisit this, right? Do you remember when Poch was hired, or before he was hired, we started hearing about some of the good things about Poch? I came out and said, whoa, unlike Graham Potter, Poch doesn't like having managers in the dressing room. Owners, sorry. He doesn't like having owners in the dressing room. And we all liked that, didn't we? We spoke about it extensively on this channel, and I was like, okay, cool, fantastic. He's someone that's got a backbone. He's going to take command of that dressing room. He's not going to allow owners and anyone to interfere with that dynamic. Great. It was one of the reasons why I ended up getting on board with Poch, because I was hearing those sort of things and going, okay, I didn't think he was like that, but he is. Fantastic. Good to hear. All right, cool. We can move. Now we're hearing Eghbali's in the dressing room. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. For me, it's a deal. For me, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. When you start hearing these sort of things, it's a big deal. So, there's that. Now, I'll show you this quickly. I think it's self-explanatory, but this is from the Times. Last summer, there was already talk that this would be a defining season for Todd Boehly's owner's stewardship of Chelsea, that investors in his fund might not tolerate another misfiring campaign. Certainly, there seemed a degree of self-preservation in turning on Graham Potter so soon after guaranteeing his job. Basically, this is what's being said. And we knew this. Even missing out on Champions League football for 2 years in a row is a big financial hit, let alone finishing bottom half of the table again. I mean, that's just inexplicable, right? But not just that. To be able to fire Graham Potter that quick, right, was a way of being able to calm things down and show that, yep, they've got control. They sack Poch again quick. That's going to go from control to you have no idea what you're doing. And they know that. And we know that. So that's damaging. But it could be the case where if results go so far left that you have to take an action. You can't just sit there and do nothing. So it turns into a lose-lose situation for these owners. And it points back to the whole point that right now, it seems like the way that the club's being run, the recruitment that we are deciding to go down, the way things are functioning, it just feels like guesswork. It really just feels like guesswork now. Complete guesswork. And that, oh, don't worry, this will be alright in 3 years' time. When in reality, we ain't got 3 years to wait. So, yeah, it's a mess, and we are now looking forward to Brighton on Wednesday. And like I said, I think we know what to expect. I'm just going to ask you, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And tomorrow, I will be here for the preview. I will be here. It seems like Gusto is banned, by the way. He's got a 3-game ban. Now, unless Chelsea appeal this, but I don't think that appeal will be heard in time for Wednesday. So we are expecting to have no Gusto for Brighton. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'll explain all tomorrow in the preview. So make sure you guys are here for that. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you tomorrow for that. So hit the subscribe button. Once again, much appreciated. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I have it uploaded. Don't forget to smash the like button if you've enjoyed this on some sort of a capacity. Much appreciated. If you're a Chelsea fan, you probably haven't, but please still hit that anyway. If you're a rival fan, you're going to smash it. I know you are. And I will see all of you tomorrow. Don't forget, check out the socials where I'm posting other thoughts and opinions, especially on X or Twitter. And yeah. We'll get into the preview tomorrow and see how it's all going to go down for Chelsea versus Brighton. So I will see all of you there. Thank you all very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. Take care and peace.